the things that British people wish to do, and that they don't do things on the right or the left. They make their own choice. On a visit to Canada some years ago, I was in conversation with a lady, and she said to me, "You British people always do your own thing. You don't even drive on the right side of the road." My reply was, "No, we drive on the correct side of the road." Her comment to that was, "And the other thing is, you've always got an answer for everything." Tomorrow's Royal, this presentation will consist of three things: the sesquicentenary, our 150th anniversary event, of which this is a superb example, and I hope that everybody's going to enjoy what happens in the next few days. I'm also going to talk a bit about our move to the new premises at 15 Abchurch Lane, and also to mention our fundraising campaign entitled Tomorrow's Royal. So if we can look very briefly at the sesquicentennial events, they started on the 1st of January of this year, and the opening event was the Royal Mail Stamp Classics issued on the 15th of January. There was an embargo over publicity with effect from the 18th or until the 18th of December.
The pictures are not on here, they're on there.
Are they? Oh, right.
It went off.
Yes.
No, they put it on that. It's not
Yes,
on
the
this
S is
screen.
in the wrong line as well. This is always the difficult bit, where the technology does strange things to you.
It's on the left screen now.
Oh, it's not on that screen. Right.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Now it's on that
Right. I'm sorry if this looks a bit like a lottery, but it's on that one, then this one, and then the one in the middle. I was talking about the Royal Mail Stamp Classics issued on the 15th of January, that there was an embargo imposed by Royal Mail until the 18th of December. That was suddenly extended until the 4th of January because they had a problem over publicity in relation to another set of stamps that they were issuing. But the choice of designs was very suitable. One from each reign, and classic stamps, particularly the pound green, the seahorse half crown, and also the tuppenny Tyrian plum from the reign of King Edward VII. Buckingham covers featured images of the exterior of our new premises on both of their commemorative covers. We've also commissioned the 150th anniversary medal, the obverse showing the lion head of Her Majesty Queen Victoria, and the 150th anniversary logo on the reverse. And those are presented to all those presenting exhibits and doing displays during the sesquicentennial period, which continues until the 8th of May next year. Also, the 150th anniversary certificate presented in the same way. Where a region or a society carries out a display or presentation, then the region or the society receive the medal, and all those displaying receive the 150th anniversary certificate. Our first major event, of course, was Spring Stampex, the themed exhibition, His Majesty King George V, our first patron. It was a great success. There was a real buzz and good feelings within the exhibition hall. 30 different countries and topics and proof material was shown from the RPSL collections. I think we had more proof material of stamps from the reign of King George V than has ever been shown before. In addition to that, we had the supplement to the London Philatelist, a permanent record, and being the catalogue for the exhibition itself. I was delighted that Patrick Flanagan, a fellow of our society, received the Best in Show Award, the Silver Mail Coach Trophy, for his excellent exhibit, the King George V Southern Rhodesia 1924, first definitive issue. Also at Stampex, we launched the first book, the RPSL Members Collections, in 2019, a permanent record of what members collect in this, our 150th anniversary year. More than 200 members contributed, and I see the technology is playing tricks on me again, contributed 554 pages. But the most important thing is that the book raised £34,400 for the Society as part of tomorrow's Royal. I'll move on now and see if it's... no, it's not better. The Foundation Day Luncheon was also another major celebration and took place on the 10th of April at Stationers Hall in the city. 140 members and guests attended, and the reception was held in the courtroom. That's the courtroom. We have a few technical problems again. My apologies for that. It was a magnificent setting, and everybody enjoyed themselves. You can see there what a convivial atmosphere it was, and we did have some difficulty in convincing everybody to leave at 3:30 in the afternoon. The menu, and this is just to illustrate that philately is everywhere. I had a discussion with Patrick about the main course for the luncheon, and I thought, well, why not have roast lamb? It's an English tradition. He said, well, it's an international audience. Let's go for the guinea fowl instead. I subsequently discovered at home, in a box of covers awaiting attention, which we all have, a cover posted in southern Rhodesia in October 1943, postmarked guinea fowl. Philately is everywhere. That event was followed the following day by the past president's displays, and this was the last occasion on which material from the collection of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II was shown at 41 Devonshire Place. I am extremely grateful to David Beach for organising that event. He was the only past president who didn't have a collection to exhibit on that occasion. And when we, at an early stage, discussed the details of the event, I said to him, he said to me, what role have you got for me? He said, because I don't have a collection. And I said, well, David, would you like to organise the event? He readily agreed. Now, we appear to have lost the technical support. I do apologise for this. There isn't anything I can do about it from here, I'm afraid. I think we'll treat this as an intermission.
Har de ingen tekniker?
Well, I need the technical. Ah, it's okay now. I it's small again.
Comes and goes.
It does come and go, yes. Past presidents, and this will be the last photograph of any group, I think, taken outside number 41 Devonshire Place. Moving on then, the sesquicentennial publication, A History of the Royal Philatelic Society from 1869 to 2019. This publication is scheduled for launch at Autumn Stampex. There are 13 chapters, 3 appendices, 300 pages. And I'd like to thank Professor Charles Oppenheim for the work that he has put into editing that. I found that marshalling 13 authors who are all writing chapters under a slightly different style does require a professional, and that's why I enlisted Charles's aid to achieve that objective.
They're changing the whole thing now, so
Right. We still have a technical problem.
Have some chocolate for baking.
Well, I was going to say later that it will become a chocolate-free zone.
We'll have eaten it, that's why.
Although that's the crowning glory. I'm sorry. I can assure you of one thing, the jokes won't get better.
At least we laugh.
Let me say just then a little bit about 15 Abchurch Lane. We looked at those premises some 2 years ago and found that they would be most suitable for our purposes. We have a picture. No, we haven't. It's gone again. Right. Okay, I just finished with that. 15 Abchurch Lane, though, gives us an opportunity not to just pick everything up from 41 Devonshire Place and do things in exactly the same way in new premises. We need to maximise the opportunities that it provides. So we will review and revise how we conduct business, provide facilities for members, and organise ourselves, including a look at procedures and systems, and most of that has already started. The accommodation that we have is a prime location within the city, conveniently located between Bank and Cannon Street tube stations. One of the things that I value most is that there will be very much improved facilities, accommodation for staff, because the current accommodation that they use, the office at 41 Devonshire Place, has been said that it's a bit like working in a large cupboard. There will be greatly improved facilities for meetings. We've got 5 stories above ground level and 2 basement levels for secure storage and climate controlled conditions, with also passenger lift and a goods lift. However, the move to 15 Abchurch Lane, unfortunately, is delayed until late August. There was a problem with digging the pit below the lift in order to get it down to second basement level. I'm not going into boring you with the detail of that, but of course we would have wanted to move in now at a time when that work has to be completed. And of course there's a health and safety issue here, that staff can't work or occupy a building that has not been signed off by building control. So the approach now is that different areas may be handed over in a phased manner to enable goods to be deposited, and we're also seeking an extension of our lease to 41 Devonshire Place. However, on a more positive note, the meetings and facilities, the facilities that we have for meetings and also the additional facilities will be much improved. On the 4th floor, there's a functional meeting room which will seat 60. 3rd floor is administration and expert committee, with a very small meeting room there. So the 2nd floor and the 1st floor can have alternative uses. It can be hired out, it can be a function room, or it will seat, either will seat 120 people, or we can have 21 double-sided 16-page A-frames. The ground floor will be a members' lounge with museum exhibits and have the same sort of function as the large library does at the moment to accommodate members. The upper basement, the library, lower basement, archives, bookstack, museum office and artefacts. It gives us also the opportunity to make a few changes to 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock presentations. Currently for 5 o'clock you have 108 pages in the wall frames. It would be convenient to increase that number to 128. That is the standard 8-frame exhibit. and 16 pages per frame. So it will make it much easier for those displaying. It's possible just to, if you've got an 8-frame display, just to pull the pages from the boxes without having to remount them. 1 o'clock goes from 588 to 672 pages as a maximum, and more may be available for very large displays or exhibitions by regions or societies. One of those is planned for the end of September of this year, when the North region of the UK will be displaying. And they have asked for up to 960 pages, which is 30 double-sided A-frames, each taking 16 pages. We would also, because we have additional space, be able to have a verbal presentation included in a 1 o'clock display, and also a PowerPoint presentation. I think that those wishing to avail themselves of that facility would need to think fairly carefully as to how they would do it, because if you're limited, as we recommend, to 25 to 30 minutes for 5 o'clock and 30 to 35 slides for 5 o'clock, because you've got 5 times the number of pages, you don't get 5 times the time in which to speak, or 5 times the number of slides. It would be possible, though, to do a very high-level presentation of the overall highlights of the display, or to focus very clearly on one aspect of it in detail. So those are the changes and the flexibility which we can have with future 5 o'clock and 1 o'clock presentations. Just to emphasise the layout of the frames, 21 double-sided A-frames, 42 sides, in 3 rows of 7 frames per row, with 16 pages per side, which gives 672. But I would emphasise that that's a maximum. You can do less than that. You can do 500 or 600. You don't have to go to the 672. A quick look then at next year's programme. 12th of September, material from the collection of Her Majesty the Queen, and then a series of 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock displays, and I've included the major events, which I'll say a little bit more about, those at Washington, Gibraltar and Sindelfingen. In the second part of the programme, the Hong Kong exhibition on the 29th of February, and then during London 2020, international members and representatives, 51 frame displays, where that will be taken forward in the next month or so, and the culmination of our 150th anniversary on the 8th of May 2020, the President's Dinner in the Guildhall. The meeting and exhibition at the National Postal Museum in Washington, 17th to the 20th of October. I attended a meeting at 8:30 this morning of those involved in organising that. And these are the major activities that will take place during that event. It's very important. It coincides with the state visit of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth in 1939, the anniversary of that, and also there's a celebrated reception and dinner, and it is principally, remember, for the North American members. Gibraltar, at the iconic Garrison Library, Richard Garcia is organising displays by members and visitors in 2 sessions, and then a reception the following day, displays by the Gibraltar Study Circle, and the day after that the GB Overprint Society. Sindelfingen, and there are 3 major international events very close together, as you will see. The fair and exhibition, 24th to the 26th of October. Any postal history topic is welcome, and there's already considerable speculation as to who is likely to win the Golden Post Horn Trophy. Next year in Hong Kong, 51 frame displays, Gems of Asian Philately, 29th of February 2020. Moving on, I'm going back to tomorrow's Royal, room hire at 15 Abchurch Lane. Those are our 2 objectives as I mentioned earlier, maximise the use of the premises and also generating income streams. We confirmed to many philatelic societies that we will continue to hire meeting rooms to them, and we're also looking to reach agreement with commercial organisations for conferences, seminars and other events, so that we do make full use of the premises when we're not actually using rooms on the first and second floor for our own events. Fundraising, tomorrow's Royal. Our target, as previously announced, £2,500,000. We have collected or raised £1,072,000, that's 42% of our total. There are some additional funds in transit. I want to take this opportunity to say a very big thank you to everybody for the support that they have given the Royal Philatelic Society London as members. Your efforts are so much appreciated. We have 73 life membership people who have signed up for life membership already, and that offer continues until the 31st of July. There is a special fundraising event to be held on the 8th of November, an auction of material donated to the Society. We have many generously donated lots. The catalogue is filling up. More lots are needed, and the closing date is the 8th of September 2019. So if you have anything that is surplus to your requirements and you wish to donate it for the benefit of the Royal, that will be very gratefully received, and I invite you to contact Peter Coburn. Much has been said about a new Royal website. Development of the catalogue and integrating it with other RPSL systems is ongoing, and acceptance testing is planned for the third phase of the development. We hope that it will go live early in October, but of course we are reliant upon volunteers being available during September. It's still the holiday period, and of course Stampex is on in the middle of that month. I mentioned earlier about reviewing and revising the way we do business. We had a secretariat a few years ago. It's become quite clear that the job of honorary secretary is too much for one person. So we're making the following changes there and coordinating it and having honorary secretary and several assistant secretaries to split the work up, and the ONSEC will manage that at the high level and report to council accordingly. We're also introducing a governance and compliance committee with those objectives. Corporate governance is becoming very important. We need to be careful of the requirements of the Charity Commission and also all the other legislation that covers limited companies, and ensure that all our internal activities are compliant with the rules and regulations which the Royal itself makes internally. Finally then, towards the end of our sesquicentenary period, the International Representatives meeting in London, 51 frame displays on Thursday the 7th of May 2020, followed the next day by the President's dinner in the Great Hall and the Old Library. This is being combined, as we did in 2015 with Europhilex, so that the Palmares, or the equivalent presentation of awards and the primary medals at London 2020, will precede the President's dinner in the Great Hall. And the two things being co-located makes everything that much more convenient for everybody, and also is much more cost effective. We've booked the Guildhall, and we're hoping to have a minimum of 300 attending. We can have many more than that, and I look forward to seeing as many of you there as possible. Thank you very much indeed for listening to this report on tomorrow's Royal and our new premises at 15 Abchurch Lane in the sesquicentenary. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.